I am Brother Khalil Abdul Muhammad from the Youth Ministry of Muhammad Mosque number 7 on behalf of the East Coast Regional Representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Regional Minister Dr. Abdul Hafeez Muhammad. We want to thank our sister Kim Smith for having us here today. We're promoting the FOI meeting tonight at Harlem Muhammad Mosque number 7. All men's meeting, 106-08 West 127th Street, Harlem, New York 10027. We're in the community with the people because we love the people. We greet you in the ancient words of peace and paradise. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. I'm happy to be here with my brother, Brother Booker. It's excellent to be here in the community with the people. We love to be here with the people on behalf of the family of Lesandro Jr. Guzman-Feliz. We are just excited to be here working. We are excited to try and come back and bring restorative justice into the community for the young people, for the old people, for all of humanity. We need peace.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your strategy of coming into the community to restore, like connecting with the men in the community and giving them strategies as to how to better survive in our community.
Thank you for that question, sister. The strategy is simple. Our strategy is based off of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has been an example for over 63 years in the community. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has told us to come out into the community under the initiative Peace in the Streets. So we come out to speak to the men, to speak to the sisters, and let them know that there is hope. Every time you see a Muhammad Mosque in your community, that's a beacon of hope. That's a light of hope, because we promote freedom, justice, and equality for all people, regardless of your creed, regardless of your class, regardless of your color. You deserve freedom, you deserve justice, and you deserve equality. And that is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has represented to us, and that is the example that we are following under his representative, Regional Minister Dr. Abdul Hafeez Muhammad. Our strategy is to come into the community and provide education on how to eat to live, military drill and exercise, protection and respect of the women, self-defense, high mathematics, high civilization. When we begin to civilize our people and give them the knowledge of themselves, then they begin to understand the knowledge of God. When you have a knowledge of self, it is to have a knowledge of God, which then makes evident and clear to you who is the open enemy. And when you begin to see what that open enemy is, the liquor store, the hookah, the K2, the drugs, the violence, the gangs. When you begin to see that, then you begin to kill that enemy, which more than oftentimes is not an enemy, E-N-E-M-Y, but it's the inner me, the I-N-N-E-R-M-E. And so therefore, we are in the community to teach you about who you are. So when you look in yourself, you will see God, and it will be hard for you to kill God and drag him out of a store and chop him up and stab him. It's hard for you to kill God by shooting into a crowd and hitting her in the back and saying, I'm sorry, God, I didn't mean to shoot you, because we need a knowledge of self, which is a knowledge of God. And the Bible teaches us that God is love. And so therefore, when you have a knowledge of self and a knowledge of God, that will manifest a love which will bring peace in the streets. So again, join us this evening, Muhammad Mosque number 7, for our all men's meeting, 106-08 West 127th Street, Harlem, New York 10027. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, sir. That was excellent.
All praises
No
due
doubt.
to Allah.
No doubt.
Mr. Booker G.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we just want you to speak to
Yes.
us about
That's
just
my
the work
brother.
that you're doing on the ground level as well.
Yes.
Not only ground level.
Mhm.
I believe the Lord has allowed you to kind of be able to transition from grassroots all the way up to the various
Right.
elected officials
Right.
capacity. So speak to us about the work that you've done on the ground.
Okay.
The work that you've done as an author to speak truth to power
Okay.
regarding the gangs, and then what you're doing regarding the Rikers Island reformation.
Okay. Back in 2005, I was going through a transformation within my own life to try to figure out what direction I wanted to go into as a father and as a man. And it was important for me to provide a level of stability for my children as a father. And in doing that, I became a worker at the juvenile justice system in the Bronx, New York, at the Horizon Juvenile Facility on 3rd Avenue. I worked there for 10 years, but as I'm working there, I'm watching and I'm contributing to the demise of young men of color in this setting, and it's almost like as I'm watching them become institutionalized, I'm become just as institutionalized as well to become part of the system and part of the problem. And I felt like I wanted to be part of the solution. So I resigned from the job, and I actually wrote a book about that experience. The name of my book is Locked Up and Put Away, and it is a 10-year memoirs about what it is that I dealt with working in that setting, the incidents that I've seen, the gang activity that was so prevalent in this setting. I'm familiar with this particular gang just because of the fact that I've actually worked with a lot of them within the facility, and I've helped them make the change and the transformation to become civilized people within the community. And when this incident happened, I just felt a dire need to say something about it and to be someone who will help create solutions for this problem. What I've actually been able to do is become a part of the Manhattan Borough President's Task Force to reform Rikers Island. And my contribution to be a member of that setting is to actually put forth some solutions to change the mindset of these young men within the community and to create possibly a mentoring system that could be implemented within the probationary period of these young men that are being incarcerated, as well as possibly institutionalize something in school which will allow them to learn from people like myself and men who have been a part of society and have contributed to become civilized citizens in the community.
Wonderful. So as you look to work on the committee that's interested in reforming Rikers Island,
right,
do you think Rikers can be reformed, or should it be closed?
Oh, it's going to be closed. What the intention is to reduce the population from 9,000 to 5,000, and then what they intend on doing is to create more, they're going to create smaller institutions to put these men in different boroughs. So there'll be one in the Bronx, there'll be one in Manhattan, there'll be one in Brooklyn, there'll be one in Queens. And what they would like to do is eventually set up almost like a town hall meeting where when they discuss setting up the institution in the Bronx, we can have people of the community come in and speak about what their issues are about this, as well as in Brooklyn and Manhattan. I mean, there's going to be one in Harlem, and we can figure out ways to work together with the city as people in the community to make things better for everybody.
Minister, and what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about currently how Rikers Island is? Most people saw the documentary about the young man that was abused, went through a whole lot because he didn't have the money needed to make bail. And do you know the legislature had the opportunity to pass a bill where that would no longer go on just earlier this month, and they left and didn't do that. What are your thoughts about that? Like, how can we as a group of African Americans, the Nation of Islam, other agencies, be able to put a little pressure on the governmental institutions, or do you think that's not the way that we should go?
I thank you for that question, and I thank my brother Booker for his response. There was a time when the Nation of Islam had to fight to get our chaplains into the prisons because they understand that the best reformative action, the best reformation for the black man is Islam, as taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They understand that when Islam, under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, come into the prison, it begins to reform the black man. It begins to reform the so-called Latino, which is really the Latino, which comes from the red man, who is an original man, who comes from the Arabian area but was exiled from the holy city Mecca 16,000 years ago. So teaches Master Fard Muhammad, Allah in person, to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and has been made clear to us through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So if you want to begin to reform a black man, you can't treat him like an animal. If you want to reform one of our Latino brothers, you can't treat him like an animal. So in order to start the reformative process, again, we must go back to knowledge of self. We must go back to knowledge of God, and that brings forward the evidence of knowledge of devil. Jesus said that the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is within. And so when you begin to teach the black man that he is God, when you begin to teach the Latino man that he is God, the Mexicano man that he is God, and they start understanding that, then they become reformed. You see, the program of Mr. Muhammad is cleaning black men up. We don't cheat on our wives committing adultery and fornication. We don't drink alcohol. We don't smoke the weed. We don't smoke the loud. We don't deal with the hookah and the K2. Why? Because we have learned that we are God. We are little gods. And we are being brought up to be just like God. Jesus said, "Know ye not that ye are gods, children of the Most High God?" And so therefore, Rikers Island is not providing anything reformative unless they begin to start right there with that type of education, a knowledge of self, a knowledge of God, and a knowledge of the open enemy. The prison industrial complex, do you know that it's publicly traded? It's a business. You see, when you open up a prison and it's being traded publicly, it's like opening up a hotel. You expect people to come and stay in the hotel. It's the same thing with the prison. They expect people to come and stay in the prison. If they're not in the prison, then there's no money being made. Absolutely. And so therefore, we understand that there has even been in recent news that there are certain lawsuits taking place, that if certain prisons don't have a certain amount of a population, then they're not meeting their contractual agreements. So who are they going to put in these prisons? They're going to put our young black men, our young Latino men, our young Mexican brothers. They're going to put our sisters, our older brothers, our older sisters. They're going to put all of them inside of the prisons because it's a business. No, so we have to stop that business.
Absolutely. My phone.
We just want to thank our two special guests that literally poured their hearts out here in the Bronx where Junior was massacred. We want to say thank you. This is WKIM-TV, and I am Kim Smith, reporting live. Thank you so much for your time. God bless, and make it a fabulous day.